Hello everyone and welcome back to Starcraft 2 Wings of Liberty with Visa Cargo. We are on mission number 2 of the assault on Char. So I guess I have attempted this already. I thought about going to block off the Nidus worms, but I have no idea what the mission looks like. In general, I don't usually have too much trouble with Nidus worms. Especially if I'm running things like battlecruisers or just any anti-tank like Thors or whatever, you could usually kind of just kill Nidus worms pretty quickly. So I'm hoping that by getting rid of broodlords and corruptors, I can maintain air control, and that should be the way I want to play it. I don't know if one is necessarily better than the other, but we are gonna choose to take out their air power.
Well,
now, given that it is basically two missions, I'm wondering if people want me to do both and then proceed forward with whichever one. Although for now, we're going to stick with this, and I'll rename the save, so if we want to do it, we can come back later and do the other mission, if we want to.
Any suggestions?
Intel shows 80% of the Zerg flyers nest on an infested platform hanging in low orbit. We take that down, we'll own the air.
Hell, if this platform's so important, why not just nuke it?
The nests are burrowed deep into the superstructure. Surface detonations won't do it. We'd need to land a strike force on the platform and take it apart piece by piece. It's your call, Reyna.
We can deal with the Nidus worms when they surface, but there ain't no way we can advance without air support. We gotta take that platform down.
We came all the way down here just to head back into space?
I only wish I could go with you. Give them hell, Reyna. The Zerg flyers are using this old orbital platform as their base of operations. It's actually made up of several smaller platforms, tethered together in geostationary orbit. The nests are too deep inside to destroy with a bombardment, but clearing the whole thing with ground forces will be costly.
Adjutant, what's keeping that thing in orbit? Has it got power?
Affirmative. Thermal readings indicate intense heat coming from the platforms. Core temperatures are kept stable by a series of coolant towers, still operational despite the Zerg infestation.
Perfect. There's your answer, General. We get on board and destroy the coolant towers in each section. The reactors will go critical and take care of the Zerg for us.
Excellent plan. You missed your calling, Reyna. You would have made an outstanding staff officer.
I reckon I'm right where I'm meant to be, General. Now let's get saddled up and hit that platform. Kerrigan won't be giving us a second chance.
Alright, so here we are in the mission on, I think, 5 times speed. Now, this mission actually took a very long time. I think it took me 2 attempts. On the first attempt, I ended up accidentally losing my entire army, and that was pretty rough. So what's going on with this mission is you have 4 coolant towers that you have to destroy, and a little while after you blow up a coolant tower, the platform that the coolant tower is attached to detonates and kills everything on it. So, if you're not careful, you might accidentally lose 8 siege tanks and 10 Thors, and then have to restart the mission like a certain odd someone. But anyway, we don't talk about that. I've rearranged my buildings slightly so that Zerglings and Broodlings can't just run all the way around to wherever they want to go. And for the most part, I start off by playing it defensive, and then I go to take this second expansion. You're going to need a pretty heavy-hitting force in order to get through most of this. And the enemy really barely attacks you. What's interesting about this mission is the Zerg will actually completely rebuild unless you fully exterminate them on one platform. So you can't slow push it. They will constantly attack you. Unless you actually completely defeat the entire platform. So, or at least you need to kill all the hatcheries in order to stop them from rebuilding. But whatever. There are overlords that spawn out of the ground, so some of these units, a lot of these units actually aren't even being made from a hatchery. They will literally, there's coolant towers or whatever that are infested with butalisks. Those constantly spawn stuff, but there's also overlords and zerglings that I have literally watched fly out of the ground. In my first attempt, my first army was a bunch of Thors and siege tanks, and then I was really short on resources, so I decided to make a Raven army and go around throwing turrets at people, and that didn't work. But the point is, I had detection, and these were not burrowed Zerg units. They were literally just fresh spawn Zerg units that came out of the floor. So that's one hazard to be aware of in this mission in particular. As far as tips and tricks for this mission, I recommend splitting your army into two, and that's really it. You need to be able to defend the ground approaches from the places that you have. So you could take the first expansion pretty easily because you already need to defend the southern approach to your base. And then the western approach to your base and the western expansion is a little bit of a separate story. You need to move a whole lot further up on the map before you can hold that one pretty easily. So yeah, I end up trying battlecruiser spam after playing a slow push siege tank Thor lineup from the last time, and this works out a lot better. I'm really glad I took the defense matrix, because the defense matrix allows your battlecruisers to just prevent damage from the occasional spore crawler or corruptor or thing like that. So yeah, really happy with the defense matrix upgrade. Depending on your unit comp, you're going to want to be very, very careful with your gas. So battlecruisers, of course, cost a lot of minerals. They also cost a lot of gas. And you will be in this mission for a long time. So there's also no need to make a bajillion SCVs. It's okay to let it take time, because you're going to have to push slowly to clear these anyways. And during your pushes, you're going to sit on a lot of minerals. And if you micro well, you're just going to eventually build up to critical mass. You're not on a timer. And the only way to mess up this mission is to get in a rush and lose because you got it in a rush. And or lose because you left yourself completely undefended. I could see that happening too. All things considered, I wouldn't invest too much into bunkers unless you were actually building a ground force, or unless you're actually spamming out infantry. If you're not actually spamming out infantry, I don't think bunkers are really worth it. And honestly, even then, I would say make sure you have some marauders with the concussive shells upgrade if you're going to go for a ground army. Also, when you destroy... I'm not sure if it's when you destroy the second platform or when you destroy the northwest platform, a Leviathan spawns. And at least I think it's a Leviathan. It looks like a Leviathan. And it's kind of a big boss unit. You are going to need a whole bunch of anti-air in order to take that down. I'm not sure if something else spawns if you go for the southern route first. I'd have to do the mission again in a different order just to find out. So I don't currently know the answer to that question. And it's also worth pointing out that once you clear all the hatcheries and drones from any one of the major platforms, they stop rebuilding. And that means that you can clear them out of units completely and just leave them sit there. So you don't have to advance the mission stage until you're actually ready to. So mission stage determines how heavy their attacks are. It also, of course, governs the spawn of that Leviathan. So if you're feeling a little weak and you've cleared a platform, don't be in a rush to actually destroy the coolant tower. You don't have to blow that up immediately. You can take your time and just focus on clearing the map. It's probably the best way to do this mission. As far as actual tactics, when it comes to Battlecruiser spam. It's not a very complicated tactic. The entire strategy is that battlecruisers are a strong unit, and so you can do everything with them. The main strength of the battlecruiser is that they can shoot ground and air without constantly needing to be rebuilt like Marines. If you pair that with the defense matrix, then you have the ability to take damage without it costing any minerals or health, and then you also have the Yamato cannon. So the Yamato cannon is pretty nice because 2 battlecruisers can shoot a spore crawler from outside of the range, or they can use it to focus down things like Ultralisks and Broodlords if you don't have too many battlecruisers. That being said, once you get to a critical mass, it's pretty hard for anything to stop it. Oh, Corruptors. It's also really good against Corruptors. The old Yamato cannon. So once you get to a point where you have about 10 battlecruisers, you could probably just push in whatever direction you want to. You do have to watch their health a little bit, because on the later platforms there will be Corruptors, and those will wear on your forces. But in general, you just... honestly, this mission really wasn't difficult, it just took a long time. You have to push forward without losing too much, while still building up. And that's kind of it. If you have the patience, it's an easy mission. The first time around, I ended up... I only lost because I left my entire army on a platform and accidentally blew up the coolant tower with splash damage from a siege tank. I wounded it, and then I stopped attacking it, and then a Zergling ran by it, and it exploded. And I lost my entire army to the splash damage from a siege tank blowing up the coolant tower. So, yeah. Not ideal. All things considered, though, it was a pretty cool mission, so I think I might, at some point, perhaps after we do the final mission, go back and check out what the other option was. Maybe. I don't know. I kind of... sometimes I like to make a decision and stick with it and not look back. But in a game like this, it's going to be this thing where you just always wonder, it's like, well, what is the other mission? What if it was something cool? But I don't know. It's probably the same thing as this. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of cool, though, because I guess the concept here is that you choose between 2 missions that both alter the final mission, which makes replaying the final mission pretty neat. And to add on top of that, you have all of the different tech decisions, which allow you to do more, well, not really more, but different playthroughs. So you can go with, like, I wonder if the Predator is secretly really good. You know? It looked awful, but maybe it's really good. Who knows? Not me. Yeah. We do eventually end up getting this mission done. I watched through, I think, between the first attempt and the second attempt, I think I got through about 5 episodes of One Piece. So, you know, worth. Definitely worth. And I'm really excited for the final mission. Let's see. Is there another cutscene?
Good to see you on your feet, General.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts. I brought you boys a present. The Zelnaga artifact's been assembled. I hope to God it does what we think it does.
Damn straight. Betting our asses on some alien piece of crap don't sit right with me.
I hear you, Tychus. But if I was banking everything on that, I'd be quit already. Because here we are in the mouth of hell. And we made it this far by leaning on each other.
Whether it's blind luck or damn fool courage, in all my years, I've never seen anything like what you two jokers have pulled off.
That thing may be the key to stopping the Queen of Blades.
But it's our sweat and blood that'll make it happen.
After everything we've been through, past all the fire and fueling, the one thing I know is that we can count on each other to get the job done. Or die trying, if that's what it takes. Because some things are just worth fighting for.
Alrighty, and with that beautiful bit of brotherhood and a plan going forward, making the impossible possible. God, it's really cheesy, but it's really good too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really liking the story of this. A lot of effort went into it, and I definitely appreciate it. But I've been Sakargo. This has been fun. I'll be back soon, probably next week, with the final mission. I assume it feels like it's about to be the final mission to finish up this StarCraft II Wings of Liberty campaign. I'll see you next time.